Between now and Selection Sunday on March 13th, there are still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all of the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special, which includes the rest of college basketball regular season, conference tournaments. Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome into the Opening Line Report March Madness edition. We are breaking down the opening lines here for the tournament. I am Drew Martin, joined, like always, Monday mornings here by Teddy Covers on Twitter at Teddy_Covers, WagerTalk, SportsMemo.com. Teddy, happy Monday morning to you, buddy. Welcome on in.
Yeah, it's a special Monday, isn't it? You know, the adrenaline's flowing this Monday morning. I know it is here in Las Vegas. I'm pretty confident it's the same story for you guys out there in viewer and listener land. There's something about, Selection Sunday leading into the Monday of the big dance. And look, this last week was great. I love Conference Tournament Week. My clients loved it this year. It was a real good run. But this is the real deal now, obviously, with the NCAA Tournament. We'll go through each and every line and talk about where the early money's coming, what we might expect to see over the course of the next 2 to 3 days in terms of line moves, and games you want to get down on now, games you want to get down on sides that you might like later in the week. No Tom Brady talk. We're going to save that for next week. Obviously, okay. Brady, the big news going to Tampa. And this, we will break down all the NFL news on next week's show, as well as take a look at the Sweet 16 lines. But the reality is, for today's show, ain't no time to talk NFL, man. We got a whole bunch of opening round games to break down. Let's get into it.
No sense in prolonging the inevitable, guys. We're starting with the tournament games here. First four in. That is 663, 664 here. The happy hour special on Tuesday. First tournament game, Dayton, Ohio. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi versus Texas Southern here. Teddy, we're seeing Texas Southern -3.5. They have been bought up since the opener of -3. 136 being the total. This is the Islanders and the Tigers. It is the Southland Conference 4 seed, Texas A&M Corpus Christi versus Texas Southern from the SWAC here. What do we like in opening line report style? First game on the board in the tournament.
So A&M Corpus Christi is 20-10 against the spread for this season. They've covered 4 in a row. They've covered 7 of the last 8. And the betting markets just do not like this team. It's pretty clear. The money has shown, and it's not crazy money, but the early money has come for Texas Southern. We are seeing over money in this matchup as well. That may be the stronger of the two. So if you like the over, I bet that right away. If you like the Texas Southern side, I wouldn't hesitate there to get involved. You like Corpus Christi? No rush. You like under? No rush. But the early money come for the favorite and the over in this one, much like in the second game.
And Teddy, it's an interesting kind of situation here with the first 4 play-in game. And these are the 2 lowest, depending what ratings you want to go off of, guys, the 2 lowest power rating teams that made the tournament, that punched their ticket here. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi, at least by Ken Palm, is 243. So really only about, 110 teams kind of power rated less than them. But hey, catching 3.5 here, maybe got a shot in second game up here, Teddy. First 4 in. We got, by the way, guys, we're going on the WagerTalk live odds screen, best free live odds in the business, going down rotation order here. So the first 4 in 9:10 Eastern, 6:10 Pacific here. Big Ten Mountain West. This is a good one, Teddy. Indiana and Wyoming. We're seeing the Hoosiers -4-point favorites, 132.5 being the total. What are we liking in the nightcap in Dayton?
Yeah, and I misspoke slightly because we haven't seen the over money for Indiana, Wyoming. And in fact, this total's been sitting fairly flat. At South Point open 131.5, at Circuit open 133.5, at Westgate open 133.5, and now it's sitting basically in between those at 132.5. We have seen a little bit of Indiana money. There were 3s and 3.5s at the open, and now we're seeing 4s. I can't imagine the public's going to be all over Wyoming in this contest. But realistically, this doesn't look like one of the bigger line movers right now. I'm not expecting a whole lot of movement between now and the opening tip of Indiana, Wyoming. If we do see action, more likely to see Hoosiers money than Cowboys money. So if you like Indiana, I don't think it's going to hurt you to lock in at the -4 right now.
Sure. Yeah, I could see the public money coming there too. Teddy covered 4 straight, 6 of the last 7, talking about the Big Ten Hoosiers there. We'll move on to the Wednesday card, guys. We do have NIT on Tuesday as well, but we're breaking down the games in the NCAA tournament here, opening line report style. We got what next on the rotation order, actually not in the right time order for some reason here, but we got 6-9-5, 6-9-6 Notre Dame and Rutgers. We're seeing the Irish -1 point favorites, 131.5 being the total here. First 4 in game, Teddy, on Wednesday night. What are you liking with Notre Dame Rutgers?
Yeah, we've clearly seen money for Notre Dame at the open. The wise guys bet the Irish. There were some +1s last night. There were some pick'ems last night. Now we're seeing -1s across the board for Notre Dame. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a little bit of more Notre Dame money between now and tip-off. If you like the Irish, a -1 now makes a whole lot of sense. Total hasn't done a whole lot. We've seen a little bit of over money, but again, it opened anywhere from 130.5 to 132.5. And I'm tracking multiple books, both here in Las Vegas and back east. And we haven't seen any total movement that makes me think it's significantly moving in one direction or the other. No urges here on the total. If you like the Irish, there is some urgency there. There's been a clear wise guy preference for Notre Dame from the openers.
In the happy hour special here on Wednesday night, Bryant and Wright State, Teddy. Last game we'll talk about here in Dayton. 154.5 being the total, -3 in the hook, bought up from -2 on Wright State. So some movement both side and totals wise. We've seen a 2-point move here towards the total on the over, Teddy. Both of these two teams a little bit up tempo. You can see why. What are you seeing here, Bryant and Wright State?
And it's funny because you talked about the Ken Pom ratings. And look, if you want a guesstimate of what point spreads are going to look like, look no further than what Ken Pom, the Ken Pom numbers are, which has A&M Corpus Christi at number 243 as the lowest team in the tournament, and Texas Southern at 188 is the second. Well, these two teams are the third and fourth lowest ranked teams in the tournament, or rated teams, and they're right next to each other. Wright State and Bryant in the rankings over at Ken Pom, and yet the betting markets have made a clear statement. They're not buying the Ken Pom rankings here. They think Wright State's the better of these two teams. We've seen nothing but Wright State money so far in this ballgame, and I would not be shocked if we see more. As you mentioned, we've seen nothing but over money in this ballgame. I haven't seen signs that make me think this total is going any higher. At 154.5, I think the urgency's come and gone with that total, open as low as 151.5. From a side standpoint, right now you can shop around and get a -3, and you can shop around and get a +4. One would expect much of that line variance disappear between now and the opening tip.
Like it, Teddy. Let's move on to the first round games here, guys. Starting off Thursday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully enjoying your St. Patrick's Day and cashing some tickets here. Let's start off with the 6:50 Eastern game, 7:19, 7:20. Again, guys, we're going down in rotation order. This will be first round games now. New Mexico State, UConn, Teddy, 131.5 being the total, -7 laying a full touchdown. That's the Huskies. Big East versus the WAC. What do you like in first round style here? New Mexico State, UConn, Teddy.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of under money here. Not a ton, but some. And to the side, we really haven't seen anything go on. And then I'm surprised. I thought this number came a little bit low. I thought UConn might be one of the popular wise guy teams in the tournament. That hasn't been the case. We haven't seen this number do anything so far from a side standpoint. New Mexico State getting, I'm not going to say surprising respect in the betting markets, but some respect in the betting markets here. So even though the public's likely to be on the UConn side in this one, we've seen enough wise guy support for the Aggies to make me think this line is not on a hurry to get anywhere in terms of going up. And again, total standpoint, a little bit under money. We could see more, but it hasn't been substantial in any way thus far.
And one of the nightcaps on Thursday, Teddy. Next game up, interesting handicap here, Vermont and Arkansas. Razorbacks minus 5-point favorites, 139.5 being the total. Also interesting note, guys, the games here at the top played in Buffalo, New York. Of course, Vermont, a lot closer to Buffalo, New York than Arkansas here, being the lower seed, though, coming from the SEC. Kind of a tough handicap here. Arkansas minus 5, 139.5 the total. What are you seeing here, Teddy?
Yeah, Arkansas got tested the first round last year by Colgate. Gave him a battle early before pulling away late. Nothing but Vermont money. It's been all catamounts. This opened as high as 8 at South Point, as low as 5.5 at DraftKings, but even those have been bet down. Nothing but 5s across the board right now. Total hasn't done a thing. It doesn't look like it's going to, but we have definitely seen, Vermont is one of the popular underdogs in the betting markets in the first round of the tournament. They won't be the last popular underdog we talk about. The market's fixated. It's almost like college. The same thing for college football week 1, right? The wise guys spent all summer thinking about what team can pull off an upset in week 1. In the March Madness, everyone spends all week, who's going to pull up the upset? Who's a live dog? And oftentimes you find when all said and done, more favorites cash and underdogs in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Interesting. Good note there, Teddy. We got Richmond, the Spiders versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. Next one up. This is the day slate of games in Buffalo, New York. 151 being the total. Minus 10 in the hook here. That's Iowa. Teddy, high total here. You can see why. Iowa, that offense winning the Big Ten. What do you like in Spiders and Hawkeyes here, Teddy?
It's been nothing but Iowa money. And look, Iowa is a very popular team right now. They're a very public team right now. They just rolled through the Big Ten tournament. Multiple national TV wins, 3-1 against the spread in the 4 games in that contest, coming off the upset over Purdue. There's a pretty big betting bandwagon right now for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and it's showing in this point spread with the money coming for Fran McCaffrey's squad. Whereas the Spiders, there was no money for Richmond, basically. We didn't see a whole lot of money for Richmond in the conference tournament. They were a bid stealer who got hot last weekend, and the markets don't always love the teams that get hot and steal a conference tournament bid, a conference tournament champion bid. I'm not shocked at all that we've seen Iowa money, and I would not be shocked at all if we see more Iowa money. Richmond's not going to run with them, though. This total's not going up. If anything, this total's more likely to go down than up if you like the under. I bet that sooner you can find a 151 right now if you shop around, and that's probably as good a number as you're going to see.
In one of the first round games here on Thursday, starting St. Patty's Day, 12:40 Eastern, 9:40 Pacific, Teddy. This is an early start. We got South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits versus the Providence Friars here. We've seen Providence open -2 in the hook. Now we're seeing -2 to -3, depending where we're shopping, Teddy. Seeing 149.5 or 150 being the total. Talk about the higher seeded teams kind of getting respect. South Dakota State, one of them, Teddy. Providence winning a lot of close games. A lot of people saying they're getting lucky. I don't know, Teddy. Interested in your opinion here.
The betting markets hate Providence. Okay, they hate them. I don't know how else to say it. There's been anti-Providence money regularly down the stretch of the season, and Providence was a team that, from a luck factor, they won a whole lot of games that they weren't supposed to win. But this is a team the wise guys bet against game after game after game. They finally cashed in the conference tournament, betting against them, a bad loss for the Friars. And the teams like South Dakota State there's no shock. Teams that can drain 3-pointers, teams that are veteran, are going to attract betting and market attention. It has been all Jackrabbits money in this one. If you like Providence, take your time. There's no urgency. I haven't seen any movement on this total whatsoever. 149.5, 150 hasn't done a thing so far.
Teddy, we're moving on to 723, 724 here, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And Fort Worth, Texas, the host here, 138 being the total, -21 in the hook. This is Baylor, the 1 seed, versus Norfolk State, 16 seed in Dickies Arena. So laying 3 touchdowns here with the Baylor Bears. What are you seeing here, Teddy?
Yeah, it's been nothing but Baylor money. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more Baylor money. It does not look like a good matchup on paper for Norfolk State. Baylor, the way they play defense, is going to make it real hard for a team like Norfolk to put the biscuit in the basket. I mean, this line I don't think is going to necessarily go through the roof, but I wouldn't be shocked if 21.5s are out there already. If you like Baylor, there is some urgency in this one. Total's done nothing so far. We'll have to see where the movement goes on there. But from a side standpoint, this is the number one seed who is attracting some betting attention early on.
In the next game from Fort Worth, Texas, we're seeing Marquette and UNC here. So a little 8-9 matchup, 153 being the total. UNC, the Tar Heels, going off as minus 3-point favorites. So a field goal with the Tar Heels from the ACC, or maybe the underdog Marquette taking some money, Teddy.
South Point open North Carolina 2, DraftKings open North Carolina 4, Circa open North Carolina 3, and it's sitting at 3 right now. So from a side standpoint, this game is kind of been a little monkey in the middle. I don't see any, leading indicator books telling me this number is about to move in one direction or the other. From a total standpoint, however, this line has been the over money, the wise guy money is clearly on the over. It's steamed up. There were 148.5s at the open, and now I'm seeing as high as 153. So sharp money all over Golden Eagles, Tar Heels over the total.
Okay, no lineup here on the Kansas game. That's the next one in rotation order, so we can skip that because they got the play-in winner.
There'll be 4 of those: Kansas, St. Mary's, the 4 play-in game winners, and then Arizona and Alabama. Those are 4 teams that don't have an opponent yet, so we don't have lines for those games because they all will face a play-in game winner.
Sure. Quick question here, though, Teddy. Talking about that, I'm a big fan of betting on the team that won the play-in game the next round if I like the matchup. Do you think there's anything to that the market really isn't in tune to yet?
We've certainly seen it. We've seen UCLA come out of the play-in game and make a run to the Final Four. We've seen VCU come out of the play-in game and make a run. They made the Final Four too. I mean, so
yeah.
To see the when you get the jitters out and you get the one game under your belt, and now it's and there'll be travel, so it's play a game, travel, get the next stop, play a game. You're already in that rhythm. You're not thinking about it. So it's not like every play-in game winner has a huge edge, but I would be shocked to see one of the teams that is in the play-in game make another run in Sweet 16 this year. There's something to be said for having that little bit of edge in terms of being mentally prepared to win a tournament game.
Sure. First 4 to Final Four just last season, UCLA there. So, hey, might be something to that. Good to hear you say that, Teddy. We got next game up, 7-3-7-7-3-8, still in Fort Worth, Texas here. Creighton and San Diego State. Aztecs -2, Teddy. 120 being the total. It's low, but it's low for a reason.
Well, they're betting the over, dude. This open is low, 118.5, 119.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing 120s out there. So, the markets don't like in a matchup like this, where, again, when you look at some of the more physical leagues, the Big Ten, the Mountain West, just there's a couple examples where you can get away with more fouling, perhaps, and more physical defense than you can in some other leagues. And the betting markets react to that. You see some of the Big Ten totals a little bit higher. You see some of these Mountain West totals a little bit higher than they were in the regular season. And it's clear the early money in this one, I'm not seeing anything clear on the side, but it's clear the early money on this one's for the over for Creighton and San Diego State. They're expecting, and again, 2 great defensive teams. But if the physical play that doesn't get whistled in Mountain West play gets whistled in this game, there'll be enough free throw attempts that make underbettors not so happy, potentially. So early money for the over in Creighton, San Diego State.
Teddy, that's a great point with the refs there. And I'm asking a personal question because I don't know the answer. Do you know a way to kind of get information on who the refs are going to be, what conference they're from in the NCAA tournament?
I'm sure there's a way. In terms of the amount of research that it takes to find that information compared to how much benefit you're going to get from it, I don't think it's a positive expectation equation.
Fair enough, Teddy. We'll move down the list here. March 17th, St. Patty's Day on Thursday. First round games from Grainbridge Fieldhouse, Indianapolis, Indiana. tipping us off 12:15 Eastern, 9:15 Pacific. Michigan and Colorado State here, Teddy, -2 in the hook. That's Big Blue as the favorite. However, the higher seed, if you will, 140 being the total. Good matchup here, first round game. Michigan and Colorado State, Teddy.
Yeah, Michigan's a public side here. So if you like the Wolverines, you probably want to bet them sooner rather than later. I would anticipate we'll see a little bit more Michigan money. Again, the last team to get the at-large bid, whatever you want to call it, Michigan, doesn't have to play in the play-in game. Much like some of the play-in teams, sometimes the teams that get all the criticism play a little bit better than expected. Obviously, Michigan's the lower seed here, right?
I think this is the 10-7. So, yeah, it's one of those things where Colorado State's the better seed, yet they're the underdog.
Yeah, let me just rant here for a minute about brackets. This is a good time to introduce it. I will look at brackets after all my plays are after I've made my bets and all my plays are up for my clients. I will not look at brackets before then. Brackets, are for amateurs. They're for recreational players. I could easily do, how many brackets do you think you could do that you'd feel equally good about? I could probably do 10 different brackets.
Yeah.
And each one is like, this is this upset in the first round. Okay, let's flip it here. And here's this upset in the second round. Okay, let's flip it here. I could easily do 10 brackets randomly. And one of them would probably be good. But when it comes to like taking brackets seriously and looking at here's the 5-12 upset, or the 6-11. That's, again, for the talking heads, you need stuff to yap about. When you're betting on sports, you don't worry about that. The point spreads are your brackets. The point spreads are your equalizers. And the fact that you see the higher seeded team favored over a lower seeded team, I mean, maybe that's telling you something, but it's only telling you that we're going to see Michigan money and the books know it, and we've already seen some of it, and we'll probably see more.
Good stuff, Teddy. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I make all my bets first. And actually, telling you how much I've looked at the actual bracket, doing my brackets, I said it was the 7-10. Correction, guys, it's actually the 6-11. So we're getting the 11 seed favored over the 6 in Michigan, Colorado State. We got Longwood, Tennessee here in Indianapolis, 132.5 being the total, -17 for one of the more underseeded teams in the Tennessee Vols, Teddy.
Yeah, and so far, from a side and total standpoint, this line has done absolutely nothing. I mean, literally. There was a 16 and a 17 at the opener in various books, and it's basically 17 across the board right now. There is a 16.5 out there. The total opened 132.5-ish. There was a 131. There was a 133, and it's sitting 132.5 right now. So the betting markets have looked at this game and says it is priced correctly. Where is Longwood from? That's a university that I'm not overly familiar.
It's in Virginia or the Northeast. I'll look it up.
I don't know.
I think it's the Longwood.
I wanted to stop. We're playing Stump Drew today.
It is the Lancers. I got that right. And yes, they're in Farmville, Virginia. I've never heard of Farmville, but that's where they're from, Teddy.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Hey, you're learning stuff each and every day here, guys, on the opening line report each and every Monday. 10 a.m. Pacific time right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. If you're watching on replay, guys, that's cool. Feel free to reply below. Also in the chat box, let us know you're watching. Let us know where you're watching from as well. So we'll move down the list here. Teddy, San Francisco, Murray State, 731, 732 here. We get 137 being the total, -1 in the hook. Flip favorite. Now Murray State being the favorite, Teddy.
Yeah, this is a clear scenario where the wise guys like the Murray State side over San Francisco. This is a wise guy choice. All right, and obviously Murray State, a team with only 2 losses all year. Maybe you can understand why. We're also seeing, and it's not as, I don't think as significant as the side, but we're also seeing under money come in here, sharp under money. So this is one game where the early betting markets have given us a clear indicator of what their opinion is. Nothing but Murray State money and a little bit of under money against the San Francisco Dons. The Dons not getting the betting market respect in this matchup.
Next game up, Teddy, we get St. Peter's in Kentucky. We're seeing the Wildcats -18-point favorites, 131.5 being the total. This is a 215 seed. I like Kentucky, Teddy. I don't know if I'm going to lay the 18, but I like Kentucky in this tournament.
Sure. It's an awkward match. I mean, look, there's anything from -17 to -18.5 out there right now. So there is some line variance here. Whichever side you like, you can get the best of the number. But the big move, and the one that you want to get involved with if you're going to play it, is towards the under. in this game. Look, St. Peter's, the Peacocks ain't running against anyone. All they do is play half-court, half-court defensive sets. They give up nothing in transition. Every offensive possession takes 30 seconds. They are a slow basketball team. The betting markets are saying that Kentucky's going to get sucked in to that slow style. They're not going to be able to get out and run. We've seen nothing but under money here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more. If you shop around, you can still find as high as 133. The broader markets are at 132, and a couple of leading indicator books at 131.5. So we are seeing under money for St. Peter's, Kentucky. There is some urgency if you do like that total.
Moving up to Portland, Oregon here, guys. Thursday, March 17th game, 116 seed here. Gonzaga, minus 23.5 against Georgia State from the Sun Belt Conference here. 150 being the total. Teddy, Georgia State was, I believe, the 3 seed in the Sun Belt regular season. They ended up winning the tournament. And to tell you the truth, you don't see a Sun Belt team on the 16 line very often. I thought they were kind of underseeded, and it looks like the market agreeing with me. It opened, 25? Now we're seeing 23 out there. So we're seeing a 16 team get some money, Teddy. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I read some quotes from Chris Andrews over at the South Point, talking about who the sharp money came in right at the opening. Georgia State at the top of the list. This opened as high as 26.5 at DraftKings. And as low as 22 at South Point, who was expecting the barrage of Georgia State money. And now it's kind of settled in between 23.5. It's very clear the wise guys like Georgia State in this ballgame for as good as Gonzaga is. But again, we saw anti-San Francisco money. I don't know if it's anti-West Coast Conference money or if it's just the style that Georgia State wants to play. And that is a veteran team, too. Zags, bigger fish to fry than blowing out their opponent in the first round. So we've definitely seen some wise guy support for the Georgia State side, as you mentioned, Drew. Pretty clear. Total-wise, we haven't seen a whole lot in this one. A little bit of over money, but nothing to write home about.
And for the right to play Gonzaga here, we get the 8-9 matchup. Memphis and Boise State. Teddy, good luck with this one, picking the winner. -2 in the hook. Memphis as the favorite, 133.5 being the total. The AAC only getting 2 teams in. Kind of surprising here. Memphis being one of them. In the Mountain West, getting 4 teams in. Boise State with a good season. This is a tough handicap.
Yeah, the AAC, of all the conferences that get disrespected, the AAC, near the top of the list. Let's put it this way. I think Houston was a 5 seed, and they're ranked in the top 5 in Ken Palm.
Yeah.
SMU. Oh my God, you should have seen the quotes from Jerkovic. You want one team to bet against in the NITs, that'd be SMU. The quotes from Jerkovic were, the team's crying, where everyone's devastated. They're not going to be ready for the NIT. So the AAC as a conference was disrespected. We've seen a little bit of Memphis money in this one. We've seen a little bit of over money. And again, I wouldn't be surprised when you talk about these concepts of the Mountain West teams getting a little bit of over money in the tournaments. They're expecting more fouls. The Mountain West refs are, a group that tend to swallow their whistles like the Big Ten West. It lets you play more physical. The betting market's not convinced that's going to be the case in this matchup. Hence, a little bit of over money. In fact, I've seen as high as 134 out there right now. So if you do like that over, you shop around, still find 132.5s out there. But I bet that over sooner rather than later if you like Memphis, Boise over.
Going down in rotation order here using the WagerTalk live odds screen, guys. Next game up, St. Mary's. They got to play the play-in game, so we're going to skip that one. No line out. We're talking Akron and UCLA up next, Teddy. 129 being the total. We're seeing UCLA laying 2 touchdowns here against the MAC champion, the Akron Zips.
Yeah, we have seen a little bit of Zips money. This opened as high as 16. There were 14.5s out there, 15.5s out there. Now I'm seeing 13.5s and 14. So wise guys have played Akron from the get-go. We've also seen a little bit of under money come in this one. 129.5 at the open. Now we're seeing 128.5. I don't know how much lower it's going to go. I'm not sure there's a ton of urgency. I think the big move in this matchup has probably already happened. But that being said, we have seen the Zips money and we have seen the under money off the open for Akron UCLA.
Halfway through, heading on to the Friday slate, guys, here. 751, 752, nightcap. Davidson, Michigan State, Sparty, -1 in the hook as the favorite. 140.5 being the total here, Teddy. Greenville, South Carolina, the location.
Yeah, there's not a lot of love for Sparty in the betting marketplaces, is there? There wasn't the Big Ten tournament, and there isn't here either. All the money's come for Davidson so far. This line down to 1.5. I haven't seen a whole lot on the total, but Michigan State, the public's not loving them, and the wise guys aren't loving them right now. It's Davidson money in the early betting market. If you like Davidson, there may be some urgency there.
Teddy, next game up, we got Cal State Fullerton. This team's pretty good, and they're catching 18 in the hook against Duke. I thought this number was high. Market doesn't necessarily agree. It opened 18. We're seeing as high as 19 now. 146 being the total here, Teddy.
Well, I mean, Duke's going to win their last home game for Coach K, right? Well, maybe not. No, Duke's going to win the ACC title for Coach K, right? Oh, no, Duke's going to win the big dance for Coach K, right? Money coming for Duke. Yeah. Duke's not playing much defense right now. That may be a problem. Fullerton is playing defense right now. Heck of a – did you see the last possession against Long Beach State? That was a very impressive defensive possession for Cal State Fullerton. The money's going to come for Duke. Duke's the popular team. Duke's the public choice. We're seeing 19s out there right now from a line that opened as low as 17. We're seeing over money coming. Duke wants to play fast. Fullerton probably not so much. But, yeah, the money's coming for the favorite and the over. There's probably a little bit of correlation between the two. Not my money.
The 7-10 matchup here, Teddy, from Greenville, South Carolina, 139.5 being the total. And we're talking Miami USC here, ACC Pac-12 matchup with the Trojans going off as -1 in the hook pretty much across the board right now, Teddy.
Yeah, Pac-12, another conference that's not getting a ton of respect, both in terms of seeding and in terms of the betting markets. I'm not seeing anything in terms of where this line's going. We've seen a little bit of under money. Open as high as 142.5. Now we're looking at 139.5, but there's no urgency right now. We're not seeing continued under money. It's basically paid in 1.5 everywhere right now. I'm not sensing an imminent line move here. This is not a game that there's a rush to go bet.
Teddy, next game up, an interesting situation. This is the 2:15, kind of tipping us off on Friday. Jacksonville State and Auburn. Auburn Tigers -15.5 now, 138 being the total. And Teddy, Jacksonville State actually didn't win their conference, the A-Sun, but yet they still get in the tournament due to the team that won the conference, Bellarmine, is in a transition year. I've never really seen this happen. But anyway, Jacksonville State in it and catching 15 in the hook. I don't know. Anything here, Teddy?
So, yeah, what Bellarmine, when they move from D2 to D1, there's like a 5-year window where you're not eligible for the tournament. So even though they won the conference tournament, Jacksonville State got to cut down the nets. And I don't know if it's a great matchup for Jacksonville State necessarily, but the market seemed to like them early on. Auburn was high as -17, multiple books, -16.5 back east, and it's 15.5 right now. So we have seen some money for Jacksonville State. I don't know. It's a great matchup for them. If I'm playing this one, I'm laying personally.
Yeah, me too. Also interesting side note here, like just watching a lot of Auburn basketball guys, Bruce Pearl, it seems like they run it up when they have the opportunity to. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Not saying they will, but 15.5 is they're the type of team that will keep the kind of foot on the gas pedal with that deeper roster. However, it's tournament time. You only get one off day. I don't know if that's going to change things, but something that I've noticed watching a lot of Auburn basketball. Moving down the list here, Teddy, we got Milwaukee, Wisconsin now, 7:20 Eastern start for this one. Iowa State and LSU. Two teams not really playing the best of basketball of late, and we're seeing the Tigers, go Tigers, -4-point favorite, 127.5 being the total. Big 12 SEC matchup here, Teddy.
Yeah, and this one we've seen significant move already. We may well see more. It's been nothing but Iowa State money. It's been nothing but over money. Significant moves for both. Iowa State was as high as +6. Now they're +4. Total was as low as 123.5 at multiple books. Now we're 127, 127.5. So the betting markets are saying, guess what? Will Wade got fired. This is not good for LSU. This is not good for LSU's defense. And heads all the money for Iowa State and all the money for the over. If you want to bet either the Cyclones or the over, there is some urgency here, and you've already missed the best of the number. But the market's not impressed with LSU this morning. They're not expecting LSU to show up. Then again, how many times have we seen the team that faces adversity going into the tournament all of a sudden make a little run? There's the betting market respect is not there for LSU right now. Plain and simple.
Yeah, kind of a tricky spot here with the coach on the, new coach. What's going to happen here? Obviously, the market thinking a little bit more up tempo on the offensive end with 127.5. The total up from 124.5. We get Colgate, Wisconsin up next. Badgers -7 in the hook. 139.5 being the total here, Teddy.
Yeah, clear support for Colgate in the betting markets at the open. Colgate will be a wise guy choice on Friday. Wisconsin is another team that, and all season, Wisconsin hasn't been highly regarded in the betting markets. That hasn't changed down the stretch. They didn't necessarily play their best basketball over the course of the last week or two of the regular season into the postseason, obviously losing the Big Ten outright title with that loss at Nebraska, and then following that up with a short Big Ten tournament. So Badgers not taking a whole lot of wise guy support right now. It's been all Colgate money at the open. We have seen a little bit of under money here, nothing significant to speak of, but there were 141s and 140s out there. Those were all gone this morning.
Moving down the list, guys, rotation order. Huge shout out to the chat box. Everybody joining us live. We got Have Cash in the house. Mike Campbell, shout out to you. Joey as well. We got Abel, Brant, all you guys. El Duque in the house watching from San Francisco. We got Hawaii, 7:30 a.m. there on the island. Welcome on in, Victor, as well. So, yeah, guys, let us know where you're watching from. March Madness is here. We appreciate everybody. If you're liking the content, please smash the like button. If you're watching on replay, feel free to comment below who you're looking to bet in the first round, where you're watching from. All is welcome here. We got Virginia Tech, Texas up next, Teddy. Mid-afternoon game, 7-6-3, 7-6-4. Down the list, rotation order, guys, on the WagerTalk odds screen. 124 being the total, -1 here. That's the Texas Longhorns as the favorite over the Virginia Tech Hokies, Teddy.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth noting, when it comes to the way, if you're watching the replay over on YouTube, WagerTalk TV over on YouTube. Most weeks, just about every week, I try to get in there and answer comments. This week, I can't promise I'm going to be able to do that. It's a busy, busy week. So we really appreciate all the comments, all the follows, all the likes, very, very much. And when I can, a normal week, I'll get in there and answer, make a comment. Everyone that comments, I like to reply. This week, I'm not going to promise because it is, especially with the auxiliary, we're talking March Madness here. When it comes to actual doing work and digging and research, you're doing a ton for the NIT and the CBI. So it's a busy week once again. But hopefully another profitable one. We've been having running real good of late. Virginia Tech and Texas, we've seen some under money come in here. From a side standpoint, this is doing nothing. 1.5. It's not going anywhere. From a total standpoint, the betting markets expect this to be one of the slowest paced and most defensive-minded games of the entire tournament. We're seeing nothing but under money. If you like the under, I would bet Hokies, Longhorns under right now, because you're not going to get any better than the number you currently find at 120. Again, you can find 124. It's not going back up.
Good point, Teddy. And Teddy's got a lot going on. I got a lot going on, guys. I'll tell you what, though. I'll be in there throughout the week. Go leave your replies. I got a long flight out from Florida to Vegas tonight. I'll tell you what, I'll be in there in the reply section. So heading out to see you, Teddy. To you and Abel in the chat box watching from Vegas. Thanks, Abel, for joining us. And also, guys, come join us at the Westgate Superbook. Thursday, Friday, we'll be there. A bunch of WagerTalk personalities. It's going to be a fun time watching the game, sweating this out. It's going to be good. So come join us. We'll be in the clubhouse. So come say hello. Teddy, throw it back over to you. Yale, Purdue, seeing the Boilermakers -16-point favorites. 143 being the total. Little Ivy League Big Ten matchup, Teddy.
Yeah, and I don't have all the details for Thursdays, the Hustle Pod meet and greet up. I expect to be there over at the Westgate. I do have all the details for Fridays, WagerTalk meet and greet over at the Westgate Superbook. And again, we got a private room. We got open bar. We got, I think there's food coming as well, from 2 to 7 p.m. And it's free. All you got to do is show up and say, hey, I listen to WagerTalk. I watch WagerTalk. So if you're in Vegas, get your butt down to the Westgate. We're all going to be there on Friday, 2 to 7. I don't know if we'll be there the whole time, but we're all going to be there. You want to come by, say hi, hang out, have a few drinks on us, please. We'd love to see you. And, of course, the Hustle Pod, I believe it's the same thing on Thursday, but I don't have the details like you do, Drew. And I expect to swing down there on Thursday as well. So it will be a lot of fun in Vegas this weekend. What are we talking? Yale, Purdue. I mean, we've seen a little bit of Yale money, and the leading indicator books are saying we may see some more. So, I mean, there were 16s and 17s at the Open. Now I'm seeing mostly 15 and a halves out there with even 15s popping up. So, the markets don't always love the teams that played deep in their conference tournaments last week. I know Purdue didn't win, but they played on Sunday for the Big Ten title. And the markets, oftentimes tend to bet against the teams that put a lot of effort and energy in their conference tournaments last week. The opener of the Big Dance. While it's the Big Dance, sometimes the intensity isn't there for teams like Purdue. We have seen some under money in this one. We have seen some Yale money in this one. We could see more money for the Bulldogs and the under between now and tip-off wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Teddy, and a little bit about the Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I think it's just the same thing again. So 2 to 7 Thursday and Friday. And like Teddy talked about, why wouldn't you want to be at the Superbook for March Madness? Drinking fun, good time, watching the games. Where else would you want to be? So come say hello. I'll be there pretty much all day, both days. Teddy there Thursday and Friday as well.
And Drew, let me jump in. Look, if you're coming to town for March Madness, it can be difficult to find a seat. Okay. You got to get up real early to reserve your. If you're not paying for your seats, if you're just trying to get general admission seating in the books, you better be there real early every day and have your buddies there. And I remember the one year, you got to do overnight shifts to make sure you get the good seats, but not if you come to our party. So if you can't find a seat, we'll give you some place to sit down. It'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it. So again. There's no seats anywhere, but we'll have them. I don't know if we'll have that many seats, but at least you'll be in a group and we'll be able to, you can shift around the seats and go, hey, buddy, can I sit down for a minute? As opposed to with strangers. So there you go. Couple more regions.
Just say you're a watcher of the opening line report here on WagerTalk YouTube channel. Teddy covers Drew Martin. We'll get you on in. We got UAB Houston up next, Teddy. Now we're moving to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. First round games here. PPG Paints Arena. My great-grandfather used to work for PPG, if you wanted to know that, Teddy. We got 135 being the total. UAB versus Houston here, -8.5. That's the Houston Cougars. The Blazers are good from Conference USA, Teddy. I'll tell you this. Houston very good as well. This is a sleeper good matchup, Teddy. What are you seeing here?
So for as long as I've worked with you, Drew, I know precious little about your history, your family life. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot. So someday you'll have to tell me stories about your grandpa. I look forward to that.
He's got an interesting story. He started as a janitor and worked his way up to being CEO. He was like a hardworking guy. So I just wanted to say
Sweet.
That. Yeah. Get back to the games.
But today's not the day for telling stories about my grandpa. Let me tell you about my grandpa. UAB Houston, we have seen Blazers money, but I'm not convinced we're going to see more Blazers money. There were 10s, 9.5, 9s at the open. Now we're seeing 8.5s with a couple of 8s out there. But I think this line has done already what it's going to do. Houston, again, when you look at the Ken Pom numbers, all right, for the Houston Cougars, their numbers are, hang on, let me just scroll up. I believe they're fourth in it goes Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, Houston. So they would have Houston as a number 1 seed. Okay, ahead of Baylor, Kansas, Tennessee, UCLA, Texas Tech, Auburn, Nova, Duke, and on down the line. So when it comes to the advanced metrics numbers, they really like the Houston Cougars, even more than the broader betting markets do. Because like I said, we have seen Blazers money off the open in this one.
Teddy, next one up, Chattanooga Mocs. This is one I bet off the open versus Illinois. We're seeing the Illini -7 in the hook, 135.5 being the total. I like the Mocs here, Teddy. I really do. Senior point guard, senior center, kind of efficient team. I think getting too many points, but Illinois, very good. They could run away with this. What are you thinking here, Teddy?
The markets have done nothing for this game. There was a 7 at the open and the 7 got bought up. But 7.5, 8 across the board, and it's just sitting 7.5, 8 right now. We've seen a little bit of over money, but again, nothing broader across the betting markets. Let us say, if you like this over, you better bet it sooner. But this is one of those games where the sense of urgency from a betting standpoint isn't necessarily there. This line's just sitting flat right now.
Teddy, next game up, we're talking a little 10-7 action. Loyola Chicago versus Ohio State. And guys, make sure you shop around here because you can get -1 as the favorite on both sides, depending where you're shopping. Also, pick'ems available. So, Teddy, throw it back over to you. 132.5 being the total.
Yeah, heavy money for Loyola at the open, and now we've seen a little bit of buyback on the Ohio State side. It looked like this line was going to 1, 1.5, 2. Loyola, who knows how high it was going to go. Last night it was like a one-way freight train of money for Sister Jean and company. But we have seen some buyback on the Buckeye side this morning. So when you start to see the two-way action, you say, all right, now it's less predictable as to where this number is going to go. A little bit of under money coming in here as well. But Ohio State Loyola likely to go off in the pick'em range. They wouldn't be shocked if someone's favored by a point. But even at 1.5, it looks like there'll be support for either team in the markets at +1.5. This one destined to be a close game.
7-7-3, 7-7-4. Next game up, Villanova in Delaware, seeing 133.5 being the total, -15 in the hook. Villanova, Teddy, I don't know if I'm going to lay 15.5, but this is a team I like. Filling out your brackets, I could see this team going pretty far. Winning 2 of the last 6 national championships, is it? What are you thinking here, Delaware and Villanova?
Nova's a veteran team, and Nova doesn't come in with a huge betting bandwagon because while they were winning games, they weren't covering point spreads in the Big East tournament. Cutting down the nets, and I don't think they covered a point spread in any of the games that they won. So that's not a team that comes in with a huge betting bandwagon. There's been a little bit of blue hens money. This line was as high as I think DraftKings opened 17. There were 16.5 out there last night, and those have been bet down 15.5 this morning. But again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of urgency here with the Delaware side. It looks like most of what's going to happen has already happened. We have seen, this total's just sitting at 133, 133.5. Not a gotta play it right now game on a Monday morning.
All right, guys, last little section here, sub-regional, San Diego, California. We got Alabama first team up rotation-wise, but they're playing a play-in game there, so watch out for that. 7-7-7, 7-7-8, Montana State, Texas Tech, Teddy. Red Raiders -15-point favorites, 132.5 being the total here.
Yeah, significant wise guy move on the over in this ball. This opened as low as 128.5. There were 129.5, so 130s last night. And we're seeing 132.5s out there right now. When you look at all of these games and all of these moves, not a whole lot bigger than the 4 points we've seen on this total with nothing but over money, Montana State, Texas Tech. So a very clear wise guy choice to the over in this one. Side standpoint, we have seen a little money for the underdog. I don't think it gets any lower than 15, though.
Teddy, handicapping question for you before we get to the last game we'll break down here. Just doing this and looking at the odds board here, there's a correlation that I've noticed, low totals being bet up in the first round of the tournament. Is that something you've noticed in years past? And do you think there's a reason why, I guess you could say, the bigger, sharper money is on these low totaled games to the over?
So the lowest totals are going to be between slowest paced teams that bring excellent defense. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what you're going to see is the betting markets expect 2 things when it comes to these lowest totals games. One, they're expected to be fairly close. And in the NCAA tournament, if you're down by 6 with 2 minutes to go, you start fouling.
Good point.
So they're expecting a lot of scramble points at the end, potentially in these low total games. The other thing that you're seeing is something we talked about earlier, where when you have the teams that play the physical style of defense in their conference, they can get away with a lot more oftentimes without getting whistled for fouls than you can in the big dance. We have a different set of referees. So the betting markets on the lowest totals expecting a few more fouls as well, which is at least part of the reason why we're seeing the money come for the over in many of these matchups.
He's Teddy Covers on Twitter at Teddy_covers. Drew Martin on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. We got Arizona versus the 16 play-in game. We'll skip that one. Last game here, we're breaking down every game on the board, March Madness style here for the NFL opening line report, not NFL, but March Madness opening line report. 781, 782 here. TCU Seton Hall. good ones sidewise, Teddy. We're seeing pick 'em at most shops, -1 at 1 for Seton Hall, 129.5 being the total last game here, Teddy. What are we seeing in Seton Hall, TCU?
Yeah, the early money kind of came. There was like 1.5s out there last night, and -1s out there for Seton Hall, and we saw some TCU money. What I'm seeing right now is a little bit of Seton Hall money, which tells us that there are different groups betting against each other, and this isn't a game that's likely to be moved in any significant direction one way or the other. Nobody's going to be favored by more than -1 in this game at tip-off, barring injury. Total-wise, we're not seeing anything. 129.5, 130, exactly where it was last night. So this is a game that, from an opening line report standpoint, I got nothing to offer.
Great show, Teddy, though. Breaking it down, doing it in pretty time-efficient manner with good information. We do appreciate everybody in the chat box. Godfather, welcome on in. James, Victor, all you guys. Frenchie Betts, thanks for joining us live. Please smash that like button if you're liking the content. Please tell your friends about the show. 10 a.m. Pacific time each and every Monday. Opening line report. We'll be talking March Madness and some NFL next week. And feel free to comment below, guys. Let us know where you're watching from, what you're doing for the tournament, who you're looking to bet. It is all welcome in the reply section below on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Teddy, throw it back over to you, man, before we shut it down. Any final thoughts for the show?
Yeah, we'll see you guys, man. We'll see you here in Vegas. I'll get to shake some of your hands. I look forward to it. I'll be at the Hustle Pod at some point on Thursday for sure. I'll be at the WagerTalk party for sure on Friday from 2 to 7. I think I'm going to bring my wife. You guys can hang out with my wife. She's more fun than I am. So it should be a lot of fun. Drew knows.
Bring the little guy too.
He can't hang out in the sports book.
Okay.
I'd love to bring him, but until you're 21, they have pretty strict rules about bringing your kids into the sports book. I've been kicked out of the Westgate before for that, but anyhow, I really look forward to it, guys. So if you're in town, if you're thinking about coming to town, come stop by, say hi. We'll break bread together this week. And other than that, we'll be back again next Monday.
Absolutely. Please come say hi. If you see us out there, say hello. Love mixing it up with the viewers. So, guys, again, please smash that like button. Best of luck with your bets. And, let's knock it out of the park. See you next Monday. For Teddy Covers, I'm Drew Martin. Best of luck, boys.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.